The following program is to provide entertainment and information. It is not considered to be any legal or investment advice.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an amazing event here at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the coronation of Kelly Davids, also known as Queen Kelly the Davids. She will be the new president of the Appraisal Foundation. So as you can see here, we are watching the procession come in through the entranceway of the National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C. And there we see King David the Bunton. There he is, King David the Bunton, followed by what is soon to be Kelly, Queen of Davids, following her with Michelle Bradley not far behind. So they are making their way up now through the National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C. And on the right side of the cathedral, we have members of the Appraisal Standards Board. And on the left side, we have members of the Appraisers Qualification Board. So they are both there enjoying this magnificent sight as they make their way up to the throne area of the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. As a matter of fact, this is the only throne. This is the only throne that is known to exist in Washington, D.C., and that is the throne of the Appraisal Foundation. There are no other thrones in this representative republic that we have, except, of course, for the TAF throne. So there they go. They're making their way up now, and King David the Bunton there is now helping Kelly, Queen of Davids, onto the throne. And now she has taken her seat, and King David the Bunton is now preparing the sacred items of the Appraisal Foundation to give to soon-to-be Queen Kelly the Davids. And now he gets the items from Michelle Bradley. We can see for the first time that in her left hand, King David the Bunton, in her left hand, is now placing the sacred scrolls of the Almighty Usapapa. The Almighty Usapapa sacred scrolls, these were designed back in 1995 specifically for King David the Bunton. He had them made, the sacred scrolls, being put into the left hand of Kelly, Queen of Davids, as she sits on the throne. In the right hand, I can't make out what King David the Bunton is presenting to her. We need to take a closer look here and see what he is I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now seeing the golden ticket. The golden ticket. King David the Bunton has taken out his golden ticket. We have not seen the golden ticket for at least 3 decades. This is the golden ticket that was discussed by Jeremy Baggett in the dispatches of the Cosmic Cobra Breeding Farm, the best-selling novel out there today in the appraisal space. This is the golden ticket. This is the authorization by Congress, which allows the Appraisal Foundation to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And he has now put that golden ticket into the right hand of Kelly, Queen of Davids. So Kelly, Queen of Davids, now with the sacred scrolls of Uspap in her left hand, the golden ticket, rarely seen, in her right hand. And now it is time for King David to put the crown on her head. The crown made totally of money, nothing but money, as he goes to put the crown on the head of Kelly, Queen of Davids. And hold on a second. Something is going on.
You have played no role in the selection of your successor.
Someone is outside of the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. They are ramming the door.
No role.
They are ramming the door right now.
No role. No role. No role.
It is Rohit.
No role.
It is Rohit Chopra.
No,
he is outside the door.
No
banging
role.
on the door, saying you have played no role.
No role.
No role.
No role. No role.
You have played no role in the selection of your successor. And now, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, the members of the Appraisal Standards Board, they're heading out to the outside. The members of the Appraisal Qualifications Board, they're getting up. They're getting up and they're trying to take over Rohit Chopra. They are now physically restraining Rohit Chopra on the outside of the National Cathedral. So there he goes. And now, wait a second, King David the Bunton turning around here. Seeing Rohit Chopra being tackled now by the Appraisal Standards Board and the Appraisal Qualification Board. He's got the crown of the Appraisal Foundation in his hands. But wait a second, I cannot believe it. He is now flicking the bird. He is raising his middle finger. He is flicking the bird at Rohit Chopra. Rohit Chopra outside trying to get into the National Cathedral as we speak.
No role.
But he's flicking him the bird, and now he's turning around with the crown. He's now placing the crown on Kelly, Queen of David's head. she is now officially the new president of the Appraisal Foundation. So now the entire crowd inside of the cathedral is going crazy as we speak. Many cheers, much excitement.
No roll.
And there's Rohit. Rohit's still out there.
No
He's still
roll.
trying to get back into the National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C.
No roll.
And now Queen Kelly de Davids has risen with the sacred scrolls of USPAP, the golden ticket of the Appraisal Foundation, as she makes her way off of the throne, the only throne in Washington, D.C., as the procession makes their way outside of the National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C. They must remove themselves from the National Cathedral within the next 5 minutes, or otherwise they will be charged for an additional hour, and they don't want to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, there she goes. There she goes. Kelly, Queen of Davids, the new president of the Appraisal Foundation, followed by King David the Button, who will not be retiring, but will be staying on as a special advisor, a senior special advisor to the Appraisal Foundation. He will be leaving very soon on a trip to the south of France, and then he will proceed to the country of Luxembourg, where he will be talking with the Luxembourg royalty about the USPAPA and the almighty USPAPA and the uniform standards of appraisal practice. Very important trips that King David the Button will be going on. And now we can see as they leave the procession, they are followed by the Appraisal Standards Board, who have now made their way back in. Rohit Chopra no longer can be found at all. Members of the Appraisal Standards Board have now come back into the National Cathedral. Members of the Appraiser Qualification Board has now come back into the National Cathedral. And there we see Michelle Bradley. Michelle Bradley throwing confetti as the procession leaves the National Cathedral. Hold on a second. Let me take a look. Hold on. No, that's not confetti. That's not confetti. Those are coupons. Those are coupons for 15% off any continuing education courses at McKissick Education. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the coronation. Kelly, Queen of Davids, the new president of the Appraisal Foundation. Long live the Queen, and God bless the almighty USPAPA. Thank you very much. This has been a special presentation from the Voice of Appraisal podcast. God bless you all.
No roll.
Good morning, appraisers. Let's talk some real estate. You're listening to the Voice of Appraisal, the #1 appraisal podcast in all of America that always brings you the latest news and information from the front lines of the real estate market. Anything from market conditions, appraisal regulations, cryptocurrencies, big bank news. Folks, you have a question, we have all of your answers. We are the one-stop source for all of your real estate appraisal information needs. If you want to be in the know, you've definitely tuned in to the right show. I'm your host, Phil Crawford. Happy to have all of you here with us today. Kevin, how are you doing, bud? How are you today?
No role.
No role. No role. He played no role in the selection of his successor. As a matter of fact, Kevin, I think we should call Jonathan Miller. Don't you think so? I think we should call Jonathan Miller right now to find out his reaction. I know he's really busy. He's always a busy man. He's always on the phone with the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. But let's see if we can't get a hold of Jonathan Miller.
You have played no role in the selection of your
Oh my
successor.
gosh,
You
he
have
has
played
that
no
as his
role in
message
the
on his
selection
phone.
of
I
your-
can't
in the
believe he's
selection
got
of your
that as a
successor.
message on his phone. That may be his new ringtone, Kevin. You never know. Oh my gosh, to see everything that happened at the appraisal biased hearing where King David the Button took all of that flack from Rohit Chopra, who is in charge of the CFPB, and to basically say, I don't really give a damn what you think. I'm putting in my person, which is Kelly Davids, Kelly Queen of Davids now, is absolutely amazing to see how much power the Appraisal Foundation really has. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable. There is a throne in Washington, D.C., the only throne in that town, and it belongs to King David the Button. Unbelievable. Now, as far as Kelly Davids is concerned, we've always kind of knew she was going to end up being the next president of the Appraisal Foundation. I really don't understand why Rohit Chopra and a lot of people had a problem with her becoming the next president, unless, of course, it was the fact that King David the Button was going to stay on as this senior advisor and continue to get more and more money from this situation here. But it is absolutely unbelievable that he was just able to say, well, that was that. Rohit Chopra, I don't give a about you. I'll do what I want to do. And that's it. And you talk about conflicts of interest inside the Appraisal Foundation. You. I don't care.
Right.
I don't give a We can have as many conflict of interest as we want. It doesn't matter. I'll do whatever I damn well please.
David pretty much said, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You ain't said nothing yet. This is my successor, Kelly Queen of Davids, the Davidic line inside of the Appraisal Foundation. It goes to show you the power of the golden ticket. Jeremy Baggett, best-selling author, national treasure, the author of the Dispatches of the Cosmic Cobra Breeding Farm,
It goes to show you the power of the authorization by Congress that the Appraisal Foundation has and the overall protection from the industry that the Appraisal Foundation also enjoys. It is pretty amazing to me that we got to see this. I really didn't have a big issue with Kelly becoming the next president. Obviously, Rohit and a bunch of other people did, and David went ahead and did his own thing. So now we have a new president of the Appraisal Foundation. It is, in fact, Kelly Davids. If any of you would like to have more information about the Appraisal Foundation, like I said, go to Amazon and pull up Jeremy Baggett's The Dispatches of the Cosmic Cobra Breeding Farm. It will break down everything that you need to know about the Appraisal Foundation, how it was created, King David the Button himself, how he gained the throne, how he gained the magic and the golden ticket, and how that operation really works. And speaking of Jeremy Baggett, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time once again for a very special segment of the Voice of Appraisal podcast. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for You and Me in the Big Fanny. Yes, this is a section of our show where we go deep. We go really deep into the bowels of the Big Fanny to ask the questions that not many people will answer. And this is a very important segment of You and Me in the Big Fanny. It appears that Jeremy Baggett has been reporting that there is some trouble in Maryland. It looks like the state of Maryland is just as pissed off at Fannie Mae as the Voice of Appraisal podcast because the state of Maryland had some big questions about all of these appraisal waivers and all the valuations that's being done by Fannie Mae internally. They have some issues about it. They're wondering if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have put any data cancer into the body economic that could have a negative impact on those people that live in Maryland. And they wanted to have some information. As a matter of fact, the governor of Maryland put together a very special task force to ask Fannie Mae these questions about possible data cancer, about possible misvaluations inside of their system. Well, guess what Fannie Mae said to the state of Maryland? Go f*** yourself. That's what Fannie Mae said. Go f*** yourself. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing the amount of power now that Fannie Mae, that Freddie Mac, that the Appraisal Foundation has in the body economic, in the body politic. And the reason why, and I've said this to you 100 times on the Voice of Appraisal podcast, is that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are direct contributors to the backing of the American dollar. It's as simple and easy as that. They back up the American dollar, and now they're going to own all of this data cancer. They're going to own the appraisal waivers. They're going to own the embracing of value acceptance. They're going to own the I love appraisal waivers. They're going to own all of this, and anybody that's going to look into their system, anybody that's going to question their system, anybody that's going to say, listen, let's take a deeper dive in this because this is taxpayer money backing this up into your quote-unquote, your version of Zestimates, your version of Zillow, they are going to tell you to go off. That's where we're at right now in this industry. We are in the fourth turning. The fourth turning, the ultimate breakdown of these organizations, these pillars of the valuation profession. This is the breakdown that we've been waiting for. And even a sovereign state cannot go to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and ask for specific data about the way that they have their internal valuations performed, because Fannie and Freddie will basically say, go jump in a lake. I have never seen anything like it before. A sovereign state, a task force broken down by the governor of a sovereign state is told, we don't care what you think, what your opinion is. We don't have to share anything with you.
We will do what we want to do, and you will like it.
You will like it. We'll do it the way we want to do it, and that's just the way it is. You know what this is, Kevin? This is data cancer. And Fannie and Freddie have now become data alcoholics. These are not dataholics. A dataholic is someone who is addicted to data, that knows how to sift through it, that knows how to sip it, that knows how to interpret it, and has discernment. These are data alcoholics. When the data comes in, they just gush it down. They just all the way down because they're data alcoholics. And just like a data alcoholic, they get drunk. And when they get drunk, they get mean, and they start throwing all over the place, and they start sending love letters and tips, little tips to state boards because they're drunk on the data. They're data alcoholics. They have the data cancer, and we need to know as real estate appraisers what that data looks like. Is it mass appraisal? What is behind their version of the Zestimate? What is behind their Zillow? And real estate appraisers out there are screaming at the top of their lungs saying, we need to see this data. We need to see this data. Hopefully the Appraisal Institute, under the leadership of Cindy Chance, hopefully with her leadership, she will be able to call upon the GSEs to start releasing some of this data so appraisers can see it and figure out what the heck is going on. But I don't know if she can or not. They won't even talk to the governor of a sovereign state, let alone maybe the CEO of the Appraisal Institute. Jeremy Baggett just talked about this in his most recent Twitter post. As a matter of fact, I talked with an underwriter the other day that was talking about the cash-out refinances. So if you don't know, there's been a lot of cash-out refinances going on because inflation is killing people. It's absolutely killing people. People have ran up their credit cards. They have an average of $40,000 to $60,000 on these credit cards. They have 4% interest rate mortgages on their 30-year mortgages, but if they cash out refinance at a 7.5% or 8% mortgage, that's still cheaper than the credit cards, Kevin. See, that's the whole thing about it. They've ran up $50,000 or $60,000 on this high interest-bearing credit card debt, so they got to go into these cash out refinances. Well, I was told by an underwriter and one of the top loan officers in town here that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are just giving away waivers on it. They're getting appraisal waivers on the cash out refinances. Now, remember, when Mark Calabria ran FHFA, these were not allowed. He did not like to have the cash out refinances, especially to have any appraisal waivers done on cash out refinances. So under Marcus Aurelius Calabrius, you weren't allowed to have this. Now, under the new administration, hey, if you need to have cash out refinances, no problem at all. We're going to go ahead and supply an appraisal waiver to those transactions. This is how risky this is getting. This is where the data alcoholics have now come in. They think they can run the show. They think they can handle all of it without having that third-party, unbiased eye of the real estate appraiser.
Don't they realize the fire that they are playing with?
I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. We just had John in here.
Right.
He's a DJ here with 1480 DJO. He's a retired loan officer. We were talking about collapse of 2008, what happened in 2008, that entire crisis. I mean, the Fannie and Freddie, they broke capitalism. I mean, they broke it, and now they're playing with fire when it comes to these internal valuations, and they think their data is better than everybody else's. You know as well as I do, they've been playing with some AI. They've got artificial intelligence working over there. They've got this huge system that we've fed over the course of the last, I don't know, maybe 15 years. So they're getting arrogant. They're getting cocky.
It's like they don't give a shit.
They don't. Well, it's just the fact that they're just getting cocky. That's the whole thing about it, Kevin. See, there's something about the appraisal business that you have to understand, especially for all of you young people that haven't been in the business for a while. And that is something called appraisal karma. Appraisal karma is real. It's in the universe. We're starting to witness what happens during the universe's appraisal karma. As most of you know, your bizometers are probably down. You're probably not making a lot of money right now, and your orders have really slowed up in the last, I'd say, 2 months, especially since the interest rates have gone up. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon is already talking about the 30-year mortgage having an 8% interest rate in the future, and it's going to be coming up soon as well. Every single time that the appraiser's bizometer goes down to this level, appraisal karma kicks in. And once appraisal karma kicks in, the really hits the fan. The more arrogant the GSEs get when it comes to their valuation process, and we're going to get rid of appraisers. We don't need the appraisers. The appraisers are ridiculous. They suck. When they get to that point, that's when bad things happen. Also, a couple shows ago, I triggered a lot of people. I got a lot of people upset because, because I talked about this whole concept of an appraiser only making $25 an hour, right? Under the new appraisal modernization path that we're going on, I triggered a lot of people because I said that they're trying to get the appraiser down to this $25 an hour job, this valuation analyst position. Well, it looks like I was right, Kevin. And by the way, this really made a lot of people mad. I mean, this whole in the
emails
in the GSE space, in the appraisal management company space, this really pissed off a lot of people. And I'm out there saying, hey, listen, you guys are going to make $25 an hour in the future, and it really got them upset. But listen to this story out of appraiser blogs here. This is United Wholesale Mortgage. So United Wholesale Mortgage tried to get their appraisers to join the Appraisal Direct system that they had created. It was created through the ANOW software, and wanted everybody to kind of go through that instead of the appraisal management companies. Well, I guess just recently, UWM made the announcement that their panel of appraisals, they would start charging a $29 lender QC fee. That's a lender quality control fee that would be charged to the appraiser. Now, remember, that's a $29 fee. So a bunch of appraisers got together and said, wait a second, the $29 fee also happens to match the average hourly base salary to a United Wholesale Mortgage underwriter. So there you go. Like, the underwriters over at United Wholesale Mortgage are making on average $29 an hour. A credit analyst makes about $27 an hour. A valuation analyst, which is trained through the appraisal management companies, there's only going to be like 9 left, right? 7 to 9 massive appraisal management companies. They will then train their own appraisers through the newly developed PREA system out of the kingdom known as the Appraisal Foundation. We now have the PREA system. They will train these valuation analysts. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, appraisers will be brought down to $25 an hour. 25.
Wow.
25. 25. $25 an hour. $25 an hour.
Hey, Phil, I do have a question for you real quick.
Yes.
Do you ever get tired of being the Simpsons of the appraisal industry?
We are. We are the Simpsons of the appraisal industry going all the way back to 2014, Kevin. I mean, this is exactly what's going to happen. The commoditization. Look at what's going on with the National Association of Realtors.
Right.
Look at what's going on with Zitzer Burnett. They are slamming down the 6% commission. They hate it. As a matter of fact, Larry Summers was just on TV last week. And Larry Summers, by the way, was the ex-Treasury Secretary. He's on there going, this settlement is a wonderful thing because now we don't have to pay real estate agents 6% anymore. They can go down to the 2%. The 2%, which is average in Europe and in Canada. See, they're using the European model and they're using the Canadian model, and they're saying you guys have got to go down to 2% instead of 6% on your commission. And they're saying that there's too many real estate agents in America today. There's 1.6 million. They want to call that down to like 700,000. The powers that be want to take that 6% and bring it down to 2% because in their mind, that's what the value of a real estate agent is, right? The powers that be when it comes to the appraisal side want to take, and this is the big thing you're going to hear about in the fourth quarter of this year. You're going to hear big announcements from Fannie and Freddie, especially when it comes to the new forms and the new 12-page online system. It's going to be a culling. There's going to be a huge culling. There's going to be a depop moment in the appraisal industry in the fourth quarter of this year. They've got 40,000 people, 40,000 appraisers uploading reports to the UDPC. They got 40,000. They're going to bring that number down to 15,000. They're going to bring that number down to 15,000 real estate appraisers in this country. That's it. That's all you're going to have when it comes to residential work, when it comes to the GSEs. And the GSEs, of course, control what? 85%, 90% of all mortgages that are done today roll through the GSEs. They're going to bring your numbers down to 15,000. You're going to have however many you have on the VA panel, and you're going to have 15,000. That's it. You have 15,000 appraisers making $25 an hour, and that's the future of the appraisal profession unless we stand up and do something about it, and that's where Cindy Chance in the Appraisal Institute, she's our last chance. That's it, because after this, you've got nothing. You've got no membership. You have no people making any substantial amount of money. You have no reason to go through all the education and all the hoops to get the appraisal license because it won't make sense on an economic level. And that's what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. You guys have got to get ready for it. The fourth quarter of this year, the fourth quarter of 2024, shit's going to hit the fan.
Now, you may have already mentioned this, Phil, but
yes,
we're going to go from 45 to 15.
Yes, 1,000 appraisals.
1,000 appraisals.
Right.
What's to say that they're like, after you get that number,
right,
that they're going to sit there and say, well, no, that's too much.
Right, exactly. See, so what's coming after that? Okay, yeah, very good, Kevin. You're getting Machiavellian on me, Kevin. You're getting Machiavellian on me, okay? So what's going to happen after the 15,000, then they're going to gaslight you, okay? So the gaslighting's coming sometime around the third quarter of 2024. So in the third quarter of 2024, Fannie and Freddie are going to come out and say that you guys suck. This is going to get weird, okay? So you have an alcoholic. You have a data alcoholic.
Data alcoholic.
You are now the battered wife. Okay, so as the appraiser, I mean, this show's gonna cause some issues with some people. Okay, so what's gonna happen is that you got the data alcoholic. They're gonna gaslight you, and they're gonna say that you suck, and that their business and that their model is so much better than what the appraisers have. They can do their own valuations themselves because it's more accurate. Now, are they going to give you any guideline as to accuracy or any definitive reason as to why these are more accurate than the appraiser? No, they're not going to do that. They're just going to gaslight you and say, you're doing it wrong, we can do it better. You're doing it wrong, we do it better. It's just like them coming out and saying that the appraisal waivers have no impact on the valuation of property in America. They would have paid it anyways. Bullshit. But that's the gaslighting that you see from the big GSEs. So you're going to get gaslit pretty hard. You're going to get squeezed out. You're going to feel like a battered spouse, and it's going to be bad. I mean, I'm just saying it's going to be bad. I would rather tell you this now than have you be surprised about it in the third quarter of this year. And they're going to push you out. And every time in American history where they try to push out the appraiser, it's weird. It's that karma that kicks in. It's that karma. It's almost biblical. It's sort of like when you look at the Bible, there's a lot of scripture about honest weights and measures, about how God likes honest weights and measures, how God despises a scale that's tilted in one way or the other. He doesn't like that. Karma, the universe, every time they try to get rid of that appraiser, which allows for that third party honest weights and measures position, every time they try to get rid of it, that's when the universe comes in and says, you're not going to do it. So I've been hearing some rumblings, and what I've been hearing is that the fourth quarter of this year, get ready for the biggest depopulation of the appraisal profession you've ever seen in your entire life. For those of you that are young, that are getting into this business, remember, you're getting into this business in a $25 an hour job. It's going to suck. You're going to get pressured from all different directions. We have 15,000 professionals doing secondary market work. You got 5,000 maybe doing from the VA. You have this like entire regulatory octopus between the state boards in 57 jurisdictions and between the appraisal subcommittee and the Appraisal Foundation and all the members of Arrow and everything else. You have this entire regulatory system that was designed to handle 500,000 professionals that will now handle close to like 20,000.
I was going to say, so you got this regulatory octopus.
Yes.
With all these tentacles.
Yes.
And it's just slapping you in the face.
15,000 people that this octopus now encompasses and will encompass by the end of this year. 15,000. You want the definition of overregulation? That's what it is. It's bad. There is no future in the appraisal profession for the residential appraiser. Has anybody told you that? Are you in your 20s? Are you in your 30s? Are you thinking about becoming an appraiser? Are you a Gen Zer? Are you a millennial? There is no future for you. The GSEs, the people that run this thing on a governmental level, they're there to throw you under the bus at their convenience. No one has stood up for you. No one is standing up for you at all. I've done the best I can. Kevin's done the best he can.
Right.
We've put our asses on the line since 2014. Now, literally like 10 years, wasn't it?
10 years,
Our first show was in April of 2014. I want you all to remember this. I want you all to think about this for just a minute. Before you go any farther in this profession, just know one thing, that in the fourth quarter of this year, your entire world's going to change. Everything's going to be different now. You may not have a future in this business. There's going to be an awful lot of people that are regulating you. They're going to have jobs. They're going to have cool trips. They're going to be able to go to really cool hotels, drink expensive champagne, talk about stupid shit. They're going to be able to throw you under the bus using the uniform standards of professional appraisal practice. They're going to be able to weaponize it. Get ready for the gaslighting. The gaslighting is going to come in two different ways. Number one, they're going to say that you won't support your adjustments. They're going to say that you cannot support your adjustments. No matter what you do, you'll never be able to support your adjustment. And when you go to Fannie and Freddie and you're going to say, well, what data source do I go to support my adjustments? They're going to say, we don't know. We don't trust any of them. No data source is that good to support your adjustments. So you're always wrong, no matter what you put on that grid, no matter what you put on there, $35 a square foot or negative $42 a square foot. That adjustment's wrong because you can't support that adjustment. Do you feel like a battered spouse now? They're going to hit you with that. And then after they hit you with you're not able to support your adjustments, then they're going to come after you with the number one way to take down any real estate appraiser in the country using USPAP, using the weaponization of USPAP. It's called the failure to summarize. They're going to say, you didn't summarize enough in your report. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to gaslight you with everything they have because they don't want you anymore. That's how the powers that be feel about you. You're a nuisance. You've been in the way for far too long, and it's now time to get rid of you. It's misleading. It's misguided to tell the younger generation, to tell the Gen Zers and the millennials, and the new one behind it, what's it called? Alpha generation. It's just mean and unfair to say that there's this awesome future because there's not. So, it's not the same future that I've enjoyed. So I know a lot of you out there are like probably wondering why I'm so doom and gloom during this show, but these are the realities. But the one thing I can tell you, Kevin, the one thing I can tell you, and this is and this is out of your hands. There's nothing you can do. Every time the world gets to be this way, and I saw it in 2007, I thought 2006 and 2007, Every time the world gets to be this way, appraisal karma kicks in. Appraisal karma kicks in and says, no, I like honest weights and measures. No, I don't like a tilted scale. No, we need third-party analysis and valuation. No, you're not doing this. And now the going to hit the fan. That's what I've seen happen several times in my career. And just get ready. So this is what's going to happen in 2024. In the third quarter of this year, we'll start the gaslighting. The gaslighting will come in. You're not supporting your adjustments. You have failure to summarize. You suck. We do it better. The fourth quarter will come in with the gigantic culling, the depopulation of the appraisal profession moving forward, and the movement to the $25 to $27 an hour model. Unless appraisal karma kicks in, that's how I see this happening in 2024. You all must know this. I've been with you for 10 years now. I've never held back. I've always told you honestly what I think is going to happen, and you have to be ready for this. This is not a moment of happy, happy, joy, joy, rah, rah. This is a moment of self-reflection and reality to see how your future will be as a real estate appraiser. Okay? If you guys have any questions, email me at info@voiceofappraisal.com, info@voiceofappraisal.com. I would give Kevin Kenny's phone number out right now so you can call him up and be like, what the going on with Phil today, you know? But no, seriously, I wish you all the best. I really do. We're going to be here. We're going to be here every step of the way in 2024, covering all this stuff. This could be the very end of the world as far as we know it when it comes to the appraisal profession. Appraisal Armageddon could be on its way. We're going to be there every step of the way, keeping you informed, and we do appreciate your listenership very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show, and as always, I would like to thank you for listening. As we journey through the mysteries and complexities that are, in fact, the real estate appraisal profession, I'd like to thank my producer, Kevin Kenny, for being here for his thoughtful insight and knowledge. God willing, we're going to be back here very soon, continuing to report from the front lines of the real estate market. In the meantime, you kiss your spouse, you hug your children, enjoy your day, be safe in the field. You've been listening to Phil Crawford on Voice of Appraisal. We'll talk very soon.
You have played no role.
No role. No role.
You have played no role.
He's outside of the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. Someone let Rohit Chopra in.